Adam! We love you, Adam! That's all I ever heard, every single time. Hi, I'm Brian. I'm 17, and music is basically the only thing keeping me sane. But by some cruel, twisted magic of the universe, even though people loved the music I created, I was always the invisible one. Take today, for example. I had literally composed the entire track, spent weeks perfecting the arrangement, and played my heart out in the shadows of the stage. But the moment the final chord struck, my best friend Adam, the lead singer, soaked up every ounce of the glory. The crowd treated him like a literal god, and me? I was just part of the background scenery. After the show, Adam was swept away by a mob of screaming classmates. They dragged him out for a victory dinner, completely forgetting I even existed. So there I was, left behind in an empty, echoing auditorium, struggling to carry a mountain of heavy, tangled music equipment all by myself. My arms ached. The guitar case slipped from my sweaty hands and hit the floor with a hollow thud. The frustration built up in my chest until I couldn't hold it back anymore. I closed my eyes and screamed at the top of my lungs, "Why does everyone always forget about me?" So there I was, literally lugging this mountain of bulky musical gear out to the auditorium gates, only to realize it's pitch black and a total ghost town outside. Not a single soul in sight. I was low-key on the verge of tears, like, how am I even supposed to call an Uber now? Vroom! A terrifying engine roar practically blew out my eardrums. I jumped out of my skin as a massive, sleek motorcycle screeched to a halt right next to me. The guy getting off the bike was dressed in this incredibly badass leather jacket, tall and broad-shouldered. The weirdest part? His head was completely covered by a tinted, full-face helmet. I literally couldn't see a single inch of his face, except for his eyes. He gently reached down, picked up my heaviest amp like it weighed nothing, and offered to help me carry the rest. Victor, that was his name, helped me get all my gear back to my music room. I was low-key confused, so I literally just asked him straight up, "Why are you still wearing the helmet indoors?" He just shrugged casually and said, "I'm heading out soon anyway, so I can't be bothered to take it off, that's all." We started talking, and it was insane how much we clicked. It turned out we shared this massive, burning passion for music, and more than that, we both knew what it felt like to have families who didn't care about us. My parents were always absent, and Victor subtly hinted that his family was practically suffocating him. We bonded instantly and exchanged numbers. The next week was a blur of constant texting. We texted every single day. We shared our favorite indie playlists, analyzed chord progressions, and spammed each other with the dumbest, most hilarious memes. I'd find myself smiling at my phone in the middle of class like an absolute idiot. After a week of non-stop texting, we decided to hang out at the Grand Fair. I was beyond excited because my absolute favorite K-pop idol, K, was scheduled to perform there. But when Victor pulled up to the entrance, he was still wearing that massive black helmet. I was so embarrassed. People were staring at us like we were absolute aliens. "Can you please take that off?" I whispered, trying to hide my face. "Why?" he chuckled, his voice vibrating through the visor. "Doesn't this make us the center of attention? Just enjoy it." And honestly, I agree with him. Victor was the ultimate gentleman. He pampered me the entire evening, buying me snacks, winning a giant stuffed bear at the shooting gallery, and making sure I was having fun. I was so busy having the time of my life that I completely forgot about the weird helmet. But then, it was time for Kay's performance. The crowd was going absolutely feral. I jumped up, super hyped, and turned around to grab Victor's arm. He was gone. I pushed through the mob, trying to call him over and over, but it went straight to voicemail. Panic clawed at my chest. My insecurities screamed at me that I was just a joke to him. I felt exactly like that pathetic, forgotten guy left behind in the auditorium all over again. I was completely drowning in my own pathetic thoughts when I heard it. "Brian!" I looked up. Victor was running toward me, panting heavily, still wearing that ridiculous helmet. He rushed over and grabbed both my hands tightly. "I'm so sorry. I had a sudden emergency to take care of, and the crowd pushed us apart before I could even tell you." All my doubts instantly shattered. I broke down. I threw my arms around him, burying my face in his leather jacket, and cried out, "Please, just never leave me alone like that again." Right at that moment, the night sky exploded with brilliant fireworks. I had completely, deeply fallen in love with him. The next week was my massive audition for the country's top music academy. A full-ride scholarship was on the line. I nervously showed my new original song to Victor, and he practically jumped in to help, fine-tuning the arrangement with me. When we finally finished the track, Victor suddenly grabbed my hand and confessed his feelings. I was totally shocked, but I instantly blurted out that this very song was actually my confession to him. We were both so incredibly happy. Just like that, we became boyfriends. Since we were officially dating, I figured the secret was over. I reached for his helmet. "So, can I finally see my boyfriend's face?" Victor gently caught my hand. "I'm sorry, Brian. It's not the right time. I promise. When the time comes, I'll tell you why. Please, trust me." His muffled voice sounded so sincere and pleading, it forced my doubts to take a back seat. "Okay, I'll wait until you're ready." But there was a massive problem. That giant helmet drew way too much attention. Everyone on campus started whispering. Some were jealous, but my best friend Adam, he was terrified. "Brian, you need to be careful. He looks extremely dangerous, like a criminal," Adam warned me, pulling up the school's alert website. It was a warning about a human trafficking ring targeting teenagers. And the suspect sketch? A guy hiding in a dark hoodie and a black full-face helmet. My heart skipped a beat. I tried to come up with a million innocent reasons why Victor hid his face, but with this news, none of them made sense anymore. A few days later, my paranoia reached its absolute peak. I was walking behind the school when I spotted Victor's back, but he wasn't alone. He was talking to this massive, intimidating guy in a black suit who looked straight out of a mafia movie. Driven by my morbid curiosity, I risked my life and snuck closer to eavesdrop. "I will bring Brian there," I heard Victor say clearly. My blood instantly ran freezing cold. "Brian!" His voice cut through my terrified spiral. I jumped out of my skin but instantly forced a fake, innocent smile, pretending I had just walked up and hadn't heard a single word. Victor didn't seem suspicious. Driven by a mix of raw fear and reckless impulsivity, I didn't hesitate. I reached out and yanked his heavy helmet right off his head. The heavy helmet hit the ground. I braced myself for a criminal's face. Instead, I was completely paralyzed by what I saw. Looking up at me were the deepest, most mesmerizing eyes I had ever seen on a ridiculously flawless face. It wasn't a human trafficker. It was Kay, my absolute favorite idol, the biggest superstar in the country. And he was my boyfriend? But before my brain could even process this insane reality, a chorus of deafening screams echoed from the street. "Oh my God, is that Kay? We love you, Kay! He's so handsome!" A massive crowd of screaming fans noticed him and started charging toward us with their phones out. Absolute panic flashed across Kay's face. Without saying a single word to me, he snatched his helmet from the ground, scrambled onto his bike, and sped off into the night. He ran, and he left me standing completely alone, trapped in the center of a flashing, chaotic mob. The nightmare had only just begun. By the very next day, my face was plastered all over the internet. Everywhere I went, I felt thousands of malicious, judging eyes burning holes into my back. My phone was a toxic wasteland. "He totally seduced Kay to climb the social ladder. He doesn't deserve him." I was crushed. Crying until my eyes were swollen shut, I typed out a message. "I'm so sorry for my reckless actions and for not trusting you. I caused this huge disaster. Let's break up." I hit send, pulling myself back into the cold, invisible shadows where I truly belonged. Despite the crushing heartbreak, I still had my dream. I gathered whatever strength I had left, finalized the arrangement I wrote for Victor, and brought it to the Academy audition. For the first time in my life, I stood in the center of the stage, singing my own song. I poured my soul into it, but suddenly, the crowd erupted into vicious boos. "Get off the stage, you thief! How dare you steal someone else's song? You're a stain on the music industry." The insults hit me like physical blows. My head spun. Then the head judge spoke into the mic. "Brian, earlier today, Adam performed this exact song perfectly. Did you steal Adam's work for this audition?" I was absolutely paralyzed. "What? No, that's my song. I wrote it." But right as my knees gave out, someone caught me. I looked up. It was Victor. No bulky helmet, no disguise. He was standing there with the face of Kay, the superstar. The entire auditorium fell dead silent. He didn't just come to save me, he came with undeniable proof. He projected everything onto the big screen. Our messy draft papers, the demo he had emailed to one of the judges days ago, and a video of me casually strumming the guitar and singing the raw version of the song just for him. My name was cleared in an instant. Adam's lies were exposed, and out of sheer humiliation, he ended up dropping out of school entirely. But Victor didn't stop there. Right in front of the press and the academy, he announced he was stepping down from the blinding spotlight as an idol to work behind the scenes as a composer. He asked the public to finally respect his private life. A lot of fans were genuinely touched by their relationship and stayed to support them. And yeah, a part of the fandom did end up turning their backs. But honestly, Victor didn't let it get to him. That night, Victor took me down to the river, and honestly, the air just felt so incredibly fresh and freeing. Standing there in normal, comfortable clothes, with the purest smile I had ever seen, he finally told me everything. His family used to be incredibly poor, so his mother forced him to become an idol. The more famous he got, the more money he made, and the tighter her grip became. He tried to run away and hide, but she tracked him down and booked that fair performance under his name without his consent. To avoid a massive breach of contract, he had to hide from me and perform. "And what about that scary guy in the black suit?" I asked. Victor laughed out loud. "Brian, that human trafficker was literally one of the Academy judges. I was trying to introduce your demo to him." I buried my face in my hands, feeling so incredibly stupid, but also incredibly relieved. We made up right there by the river, and it was perfect. So, what about you? Are you dating the person of your dreams without even knowing their face? Do you have the courage and trust to wait for them? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit follow and rate our podcast channel 5 stars so you don't miss any juicy drama every week. Thanks for listening.